Welcome back to NBC News. Today, guest speaking, we have Muddy Waters. Muddy, how are you today?
Pretty good. I mean, I've had better days, but it's a good day.
Yeah, I understand. So, first question I have personally is, where were you born? Backstory, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was born in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, and yeah, I mean that's where I grew up till I was 17.
I think your name's McKinley Morganfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I usually go with Muddy Waters though.
Why is that?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story because when I was little, I'd play in the Muddy Waters after it rained.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So, another question is, how was the education back then? Like, did you get much?
Not too good. I mean, teachers were bad. The schools were pretty bad. I mean,
Okay.
it was just overall not very good.
Yeah. And then, where were your music influences?
Well, there were fish fries, because they'd have music at fish fries. There were also jukes.
Well, what is a juke?
Well, it's kind of like a barn, but, they have music there.
Oh, so it's like a concert.
Yeah, there's like
Oh, okay,
concerts. I guess that's the word for it, concert.
So is that where you got your music influences?
Yeah, I mean, fish fries and jukes mainly because I'd go there and I'd watch the other guys play and I'd want to be like them.
So it was like a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, ever since I was young, I guess.
Dream. So, and then, do people enjoy your music in Chicago at first? I mean, because blues is a new thing now, because they all love it, you know?
Yeah, well, at first they didn't. They'd laugh at me, but, later on, after a while, they started liking it, and I think I influenced many people there.
Yeah.
Because, after a while, everyone was imitating me and playing the blues, and so yeah.
Well, Muddy Waters, this has been a great experience talking to you.
Oh yeah.
And hope you have a great day, man.
Oh yeah, me too, definitely.
Where were you born, Mr. T?
I was born and raised in Chicago in one of the city housing projects. It was a very poor and murderous place. There was constant crime and gangs everywhere. It was difficult to survive.
So, and then my next question is, how was your education and where did you go to school?
Well, it's a funny story. My education, I went to Dunbar Vocational High School. It was a great place. I really learned about my faith, and it was very, it was a great experience. Then for college, I went to Prairie View A&M. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a university. And I majored in math, but I got expelled my first year.
Oh,
It's pretty funny. If you ask.
I understand that experience. But okay, and then what about jobs? Yeah.
Well, when I was a child, I had to put on a lot of weight and muscle, along with my brothers, if we wanted to survive in our dangerous house. So I started working as a bouncer at a club called Mother's. It's in the city. It's still there.
Yeah.
And that's where I began to wear jewelry, because when I kicked people out of the bar, I wanted them not to get in fights again. So I would wear their jewelry and then give it to them, being a good Samaritan, because that's what I'm all about.
And then, any more jobs?
Yes, after I became a bouncer, I worked as a bodyguard. I've been a bodyguard for about 107 people, usually charging about $7,000 per day.
Oh.
I always carry 2 pistols with me. Would you like to see?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
Your choice.
So, I heard you tried out for the Green Packers, was it? Yeah.
I did. I was really looking forward to it, but unfortunately my knee was just really wounded and I didn't make it.
What happened to your knee?
My knee, well, see, I've been in 2 competitions for bouncers, and it's a fun experience.
Yeah.
You pick up heavy weights, you break doors, and my knee, it didn't last me through, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do know what you're saying. So, I noticed your hairstyle is it's quite unique.
Yes, my hairstyle is actually from a National Geographic magazine off the cover. It's Mandinka Warrior, and I decided to show my African heritage. I would copy the hairstyle, and I really like it. I think it exemplifies my heritage.
Yeah, Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor actually talking to Mr. T himself. So, thank you.
Thank you. It's been a great time. Good evening, Chicago. We're back here with NBC Live, and here I have with me a special guest, Mr. Dick Butkus. So, Mr. Butkus, tell me, where were you born?
Well, I was born in Rosemont, Chicago. That's where I grew up.
It's very interesting, Mr. Butkus. So tell me, Mr. Butkus, what was your education, if you will?
Well, first off, my whole education all revolved around football because it was very important to me, even as a kid. I mean,
Yes, of course.
that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. I looked up to all the football players older than me, and, you know, so I went to Illinois College, and, you know, that's where my football career sort of began. I mean, I got a little bit in high school, but mainly started it at Illinois.
So, Mr. Butkus, tell me a little bit more about your career in football at Chicago.
Well, I'll start with the draft. I was actually drafted by two teams because back then, it's not how it is now. There was the NFL and the AFL, and I was drafted by the Broncos of the AFL and Chicago Bears of the NFL. So that's kind of where my career started. And so I had 9 seasons with the Chicago Bears. Well, every year pretty much went well, except for the last year. Now, my knee, last year back then, the medical treatment was nothing compared to what it is now, which is actually why I started my heart center, which I'll talk about later. But they couldn't tell about an ACL and injury, and I had an ACL injury, but you know they couldn't tell, so they just sent me right off back on the field, and it got even worse. So right now I still have hard trouble walking, so that's the part where I get emotional in my NFL career.
So, Mr. Butkus, can you tell me a little bit more about this heart center?
Oh yeah, I started the Cardiovascular Heart Center in Orange County, California, because I nearly had a heart attack myself. I would have had one had I not gone to a heart center myself and found out how close I was to one. I would not be living with you today if that had not happened. So I wanted to start a heart center for all others so that, you know, they have proper treatment if they have a heart disease or heart problem. So I just want to make a mark on the world.
May I see your football? When is
Yeah.
this from?
Well, this was actually a football that I used in one of the games. This was a football that I stripped from the running back, and I almost got a touchdown on the return.
Wow, that's quite impressive, Mr. Butkus.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a real pleasure meeting you, sir.
That has been a real pleasure.
Don't touch
Touching my football!